Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, stray animals face a crisis as a shutdown cuts resources. How local shelters are scrambling for solutions. Beeville ISD addresses the football game incident that has the community talking. And Hurricane Melissa bears down on Jamaica and threatens to be the island's strongest recorded storm.
I have the latest for you on that Hurricane Melissa. For us, we've got just beautiful news. A real cold front is going to be rolling through here Wednesday morning, and you're actually going to be looking for a sweater. I'll talk about that coming up in a moment.
And starting this Thursday, beginning the first round of volleyball playoffs. We'll highlight all the first round matchups later on.
You're watching 25 News Now 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Shauna Curry is off tonight. With the ongoing government shutdown, animal resources like food, shelter, and medical care could soon run short. Stray animals are already a big challenge in the Crossroads. That could be made worse. Victoria County Animal Services Director Mark Sloat says his team is working to find solutions, looking into grants and programs to help pet owners and keep animals off the streets. He says asking for help should always come before surrendering a pet.
We certainly don't want people to come in and have to give up their pet because they can't afford some kibble for the week. We can help out here and there, and we ask that if anybody is getting in that position, that they reach out for help sooner rather than later. Don't wait until things are getting skinny or starving. Reach out right away and ask for help. Don't hesitate.
Sloat says both the Victoria County Animal Shelter and the Food Bank of the Golden Crescent carry some pet food. Anyone interested in pet food assistance needs to apply. And if you see news happening, call our newsroom at 361-576-0026 or send us an email at staff@crossroadstoday.com. Many of our viewers have done that with stray dogs in the last few days. Beeville Independent School District released a statement on last week's incident at a junior varsity football game. The statement says, in part, quote, "We want to reassure our community that the incident is being appropriately addressed by all parties involved and is currently under review. The district is actively monitoring the situation and collaborating with the relevant schools and organizations to ensure it is managed carefully and responsibly." The UIL has also launched an investigation into the midfield confrontation between the Beeville and Lavernia players. A Texas game warden caught an illegal fishing operation in Matagorda County last month. The warden responded to a tip about someone setting a gill net from a motorized canoe. After watching for a couple of hours, the warden stopped the suspect on shore, finding the gill net, cast nets, and fish, including an undersized spotted sea trout. Gill nets, sometimes called the wall of death, are illegal because they catch fish of all sizes. You can report fishing, hunting, or boating crimes through the Game Warden app, by phone, text, or online. Early voting for the November 4th election ends this week. In Victoria, the polls are open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. through Wednesday at the Dr. Patty Dodson Public Health Center. On Thursday and Friday, hours are extended to 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The election is next Tuesday. On the ballot are 17 proposed amendments to the state constitution, as well as a collective bargaining proposition in the city of Victoria and a proposed sales tax in Bloomington. The Jackson County Criminal Court rescheduled 2 docket hearings originally set for last week, October 23rd. They're both now set for December 4th. Former Edna ISD teacher and coach Logan O'Connor is charged with multiple counts, including inappropriate relationship with a student and sexual performance of a child. He is currently out on bond. Jose Miguel Salazar is accused of killing his fiancée, 24-year-old Jasmine Ramirez. At the last report, he's still in the Jackson County Jail without bond. Salazar was on probation for assault of a family or household member at the time of his arrest. There's no word on when jury trials will begin for either case. Hurricane Melissa is now a Category 5 storm. A mandatory evacuation order is in place in parts of Jamaica as the storm inches closer. The impact of the storm's outer bands are already being felt. The storm is bringing winds topping 160 miles an hour. It's expected to bring life-threatening storm surge and the potential for deadly landslides. Let's go to Mac Perez for the first look at the forecast. And please be clear about this, Mac. Any chance that Hurricane Melissa could be headed our way?
Almost none. There's very strong development here. It's going to be turning this way tonight, and that's why it's going to be rolling right over the island of Jamaica. You mentioned 160, but this is the latest report. 175 mile-an-hour winds with gusts up to 200. It is one of the most intense storms we've had in North America in about 10-15 years. It is a monster, and you can see the island of Jamaica here, Kingston right about there. It's going to slam into it tonight, and it's going to be a rough night. This is a potential catastrophe. I'm hoping, I know they're taking down, getting ready for this. I hope everybody gets the message. We'll be talking more about what it's going to do after it rolls over Jamaica, and some good news for us. All that coming up in a moment. Don?
Mac, thank you. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton says his office is investigating Salina ISD over its handling of allegations that former middle school coach Caleb Elliott recorded students in the boys' locker room. In response, the Moore Middle School principal was placed on non-disciplinary leave, as was the father of the man facing the allegations. That father also serves as the district's athletic director and high school football coach. The families of 3 reported victims sued the district last week. The lawsuit suggests the school may have been trying to protect the reputation of its high school football program. As the government shutdown nears a full month, TSA workers still are not getting paid. Some are now relying on food assistance to get by. Ashley Grams reports from Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport.
With the government shutdown now surpassing 25 days.
The next paycheck is going to be zero.
Federal workers, including TSA employees at MSP, try to make do.
Last week, there were people who were optimistic this was going to be done soon, and that has gone away.
Neil Gosman, a union officer with AFG Local 899, represents TSA members in Minnesota and North and South Dakota. Gosman says in the past few days, a food shelf opened at the airport, and donations are starting to come in.
For me, it's my 3rd shutdown.
Gosman has seen this before and spoke with us 6 years ago.
People are gutting it out and coming in. People are dedicated.
Back in 2019, food donations were collected for federal employees when the government shutdown stretched 35 days.
People believe in the job, they believe in security.
This is the overflow room. These are basically your personal hygiene items.
Groceries for federal employees.
On Sunday, Gosman said a list of resources were passed out to some TSA employees, which included names of food shelves. Second Harvest Heartland says they plan to meet the need at MSP and bring food for federal workers directly to the airport this week.
It's resources that we're supposed to read.
Gosman knows these impacts go far beyond just union members, with hundreds of thousands of federal workers across the nation.
Our job is to keep people safe, to keep transportation going. That's our job. And the job of the people in Congress and the job of the people in the administration is to run the country.
The Democratic National Committee is moving forward on a plan to reshape its 2028 presidential primary calendar. A DNC panel approved a new process for states that want to hold early primaries. State applications are due by January 16th. They'll be judged on how rigorous, efficient, and fair they are. After presentations, the panel will decide which states can vote before Super Tuesday. The full DNC will then have the final say. Democrats hope the changes will help their nominee and boost candidates down the ballot. President Trump and China's president are set to meet this week amid rising tariff tensions. Both sides say a deal framework is in place, and TikTok's future in the U.S. is also on the line. Rena Roy of ABC News has the latest.
President Trump touching down in Tokyo, the latest stop on his trip to Asia ahead of his high-stakes meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Trump appearing optimistic about the meeting scheduled for Thursday in South Korea.
We're going to have a great talk. I have a lot of respect for President Xi. I like him a lot. He likes me a lot.
It comes as tensions grow over Trump's tariffs on China, but the White House now hopeful it'll reach a trade deal.
I think we're going to have a successful transaction for both countries.
The two leaders will also discuss the future of TikTok in the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying he's hopeful the final deal will be set later this week.
I believe that As of today, all the details are ironed out, and that will be for the two leaders to consummate that transaction on Thursday in Korea.
Over the weekend in Malaysia, the president also set tariff agreements with Cambodia and Thailand. Trump taking credit for overseeing an agreement between the two countries aimed at halting long-term violence.
Meanwhile, Trump has been ramping up his trade war with Canada, announcing an additional 10% tariff on America's second largest trading partner. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
25 News Now Sunrise meteorologist Parker Cox will be at the South Texas Farm and Ranch Show this Wednesday and Thursday. It's at the Victoria Community Center. Parker, a proud Aggie, will be there in his cowboy hat and boots. And he's especially proud to be an Aggie this football season. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6. Federal agents storm a Chicago neighborhood during a Halloween event. The arrests dividing the community. Also ahead, just a few minutes of exercise daily eases knee arthritis. What doctors say works best. That's next.
It's a conversation many avoid, but one community is breaking the silence. The fight against HIV isn't just medical, it's personal.
We want to make sure that we ask the correct questions so we are able to understand who potentially could have a reason rather than a risk. I think that's a softer way to talk about testing for HIV or for PrEP.
Join Carolina Estrain for Ending HIV on 25 News Now Extra, Thursday night at 10.
The Department of Homeland Security arrested 3 people during an operation in Chicago, including a man his family said was working construction. Trey Ward tells us how the incident impacted a neighborhood Halloween tradition.
That's my brother! A teenager pleads with federal agents.
Get off of me, bro!
As he says his oldest brother, Luis Villegas, is seen in this video being led away in handcuffs by immigration officers. Another brother, Julian Villegas, responding to the scene.
It takes a toll on me, because I'm the one that's responsible for him at the end of the day, because he's working over here for me, and, all this happening and putting him in danger is just, I feel guilty.
It happened Saturday morning while the 35-year-old father, a construction worker with his brother's business, was working on this home near Kildare and Waveland. Villegas' family says he is an undocumented immigrant and has lived in the Chicago area for most of his life after coming from Mexico with his family at 4 years old. Witnesses say a woman and a man seen in this video were also detained. We've blurred their faces since it's unclear if they face charges.
The man is my neighbor who lives right here. He's 7 years old about. They essentially hauled him out of the driver's side of his car and threw him onto the ground.
And during the confrontation,
tear gas at Old Irving Park.
Apparent tear gas was deployed, clouding the very street where kids in their costumes were supposed to march in a neighborhood Halloween parade.
We were supposed to be standing on this corner with hundreds of families walking around, and we're just being terrorized by ICE. Instead, we're keeping ourselves together, resisting with joy at Disney 2, doing the parade around the track.
City leaders condemning the federal actions that unfolded.
Lawyers are doing their job of holding these agents accountable and working through the courts in using the legal process that we have to challenge what is happening.
A federal judge ordered Border Patrol Chief Greg Bovino to appear in court in Chicago on Tuesday. Aerobic exercise can reduce pain, improve movement, and boost quality of life for people with knee osteoarthritis. A new BMJ review of more than 200 trials backs it up. Experts say beginners should aim for just a few minutes of walking or cycling each day, enough to start easing discomfort and rebuilding muscle around the joint. October is National Liver Cancer Awareness Month, and millions of Americans are living with liver disease. Now, many could need transplants, but there are not enough donors. Michael Yoshida shows how a new effort is hoping to change that.
I was literally within a week or two of mortality.
Bill Houston is one of hundreds of thousands of Americans who have had a liver transplant.
But in early 2019 is when the physical symptoms of liver issues started to show up. And it really was a 6 to 8 month process of a rapid decline.
Tens of millions in the U.S. suffer from some form of liver disease, with many not knowing. The disease can be caused by a variety of things, including infections, lifestyle choices such as long-term alcohol use, genetics, and autoimmune disorders.
There are 9,300 people waiting for liver transplants right now. Tragically, 25% of those people are going to die waiting.
To help address the shortage, the American Liver Foundation has launched the Living Donor Network. Most transplants come from those who have passed away, with living donors often knowing the person their liver will go to. But this new initiative creates a database to connect people who wish to donate part of their liver to someone they don't know, with transplant centers nationwide.
Help someone in need, giving this gift of life. It's the first of its kind. It's never been created before.
As for Bill, after decades of suffering from alcohol use disorder that led to his needing a transplant, he's now an advocate, working to help and educate others dealing with substance abuse and the impacts of liver disease.
We're losing too many people. There's no reason not to save all of us.
Mexico Beach, Florida was hit hard by a possible tornado yesterday. Part of a hotel's roof was ripped off and thrown across the street. Most of the visible damage was seen at an RV park in the city. That's where pieces of that roof landed, smashing RVs and burying vehicles. City officials are now asking residents to stay off the roads and limit wastewater. That includes flushing toilets, showers, washing clothes and dishes. No deaths were reported. Mac, if it was a tornado, do you think it was connected at all to Hurricane Melissa?
Actually, no. That was actually the front that came through our area Friday night. Remember that?
Yeah.
Saturday we had the stormy weather. That front is now in Florida, and that's what triggered that activity.
Oh, wow.
In fact, here in Texas on Friday night, we had a tornado, a touchdown, just a slight touchdown up near Wimberley. Well, for us today, it was another lovely day, lots of sunshine, temperatures above normal. 86 was our high. No, that's our current temperature. 91 was our high temperature. Tomorrow is still warm, but Wednesday, you're going to be looking for a sweater. We'll talk about that coming up in a moment. Well, good evening, everyone. I hope you had a good weekend. Certainly Sunday was spectacular after that stormy stuff that came through Friday night. As you can see right now, we're under this warm front, so the warm air is moving that way, and that's why we were in the 90s today. But we have an honest-to-goodness cold front coming into our area right about here. Now, this low is going to spill over into the plains, and then it's going to really pull down, kind of hooking down that colder air from right up here, and that's why we think we're pretty sure we'll be looking for sweaters later this week. Only problem is that because it's a dry wind, it'll be gusty, about 30 miles an hour. We are under a fire weather watch pretty much for everybody from Austin all the way down to Brownsville. So on Wednesday, Thursday, let's be very cautious, minimize anything that looks like flame or fire anywhere outdoors, because the wind is going to be a bit of a problem. And now we were in a drought. We didn't have 30 days of anything significant other than what we had Friday, so it wasn't enough to green things up. So let's be very cautious. Meanwhile, I wanted you to see this. This is pretty exciting right there. That's a freeze warning for the Panhandle tonight, so they'll be down to below 32. Well, we talked about this earlier, and this is going to be a disastrous night for the island of Jamaica. Some of you, been there on vacation, or some have visited. Others maybe have direct relatives, but this is going to be really a problem. This is the latest coordinates from Melissa. 175-mile-an-hour winds. Can you imagine that sustained? Then with gusts on top of that of 200 miles an hour. The Hurricane Hunter was flying through there to get measurements, and they actually pulled out because it was so rough that they pulled away from the storm. This is one for the record books, one of the deepest storms in the North Atlantic we've had in about 10-15 years, and it's going to go right over Jamaica tonight. Now here is the center of it, right about here. And you can see this red line, that's the forecast path that will take it right over the island. Now, where just going through real quick would be one problem. The problem is moving at about 4 or 5 miles an hour. So that means it's going to be over the island for a long time with those kinds of winds. It's going to be catastrophic for the island, really. Even in the stronger buildings, they're going to have problems. Can you imagine the humble homes out there? After it goes over the island, then it's going to go over the eastern tip of Cuba and then out into the Bahamas, still as a hurricane. So it's going to be a problem for about a week. Believe me, this is going to be a major story over the next couple of days. Well, for us, we had a bright sunny day, but then here comes our front Tuesday. And Tuesday night, yes, here it is. It brings a little bit of rain chance. How about that? Maybe 20% as that front comes through, but behind it, we'll see cooler, drier, windy conditions, and that's why we have that fire danger. Other than that, you're going to love this, because all the way through the weekend, and that includes Halloween night, we've got some gorgeous weather. Tomorrow, 89 in Port Lavaca. If you're going to be outdoors, still a good day and no major wind problems. The wind comes in with the front on Tuesday night. Wednesday, the high is only 73, and then the low temperatures getting down into the 40s. Some of you are going to be reaching for a coat. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Don.
All right, thank you, and download the Crossroads Today app to stay up to date on more local news, weather, and sports. And speaking of sports, Max Williams is here. He's talking high school football because it is a fall and it is Texas.
That's right, Don. Can't you believe we're only 2 weeks left of the regular season here for Texas high school football? So with week 10 here approaching, what will be our game of the week? I'll tell you that next in sports. We've arrived to week 10 of Texas high school football, and our game of the week that we're going to head out to the Corpus area where the Edna Cowboys are on a 4-game winning streak as they're going to face the West Oso Bears, who are currently at 5-3 overall. Edna is improving week by week, including a 37-28 victory versus Goliad there from last week. And the Cowboys running back Maverick Robertson has been a beast there at the running back position. He's kind of averaging 155.5 yards per game. He also has 7 touchdowns on the ground as well. But don't sleep on their quarterback Trevor Floyd, who again was injured early in the year, but he's been very effective back in his return, and he's going to have to make some big plays out to this wide receiver who got a touchdown last week, and Keegan Hicks, who's going to make some big time plays there in the receiving game and also in special teams as well for the Cowboys. Now for West Oso, their top running back is their quarterback in Ryan Guerrero, who's rushed over 116.8 yards per game. This is a big game for Edna to try to keep atop a District 15-3A Division I with Goliad and Orange Grove. Now, after facing Bay City in our game of the week last week, the El Campo Ricebirds are back home hosting the 4-4 Calhoun Sand Grabs here this Friday night. Both teams head in at 2-1 in district, and the winner still has a slight shot to win the district, while the other will be holding on to try to get a playoff spot here in the tough district that they're in. The Ricebirds in their loss for Bay City still had over two 100-yard rushers in Vlad Garcia, who had 34 carries, 174 yards, and Kylan Taylor with 11 carries, 122 yards with 2 touchdowns. For the Sand Crabs, they beat Floresville last week at home 37-28 and had all-around playmaker Isaiah Cabrillas lead the team with 8 carries, 153 yards, and he just threw a pass as well for only 10 yards, but he still made some big-time plays. He's a playmaker all over the field for Grills, so 2 explosive offenses in this high-octane matchup. Now, our friends at Dave Campbell's, though, are revealed their prominent local Crossroads teams again for their rankings. Cuero has ascended up there too in the top 10 at number 8 of the 4A Division II rankings. And now we go over additionally Tidehaven, Refugio, and Shiner continue to hold their spots there in their respective divisions, with Tidehaven 3 Division II, Refugio in 2A Division I, and Shiner in 2A Division II, and Ganado as well in 2A Division I there, sitting at number 2. So again, big time rankings still the same, but Cuero moves up into the top 10. Now over to volleyball action, where next 2 days we have playoff warm-up game action, but starting this Thursday is by-district round for volleyball playoffs. And again, first in the 2A ranks, the Yorktown Wildcats face the Schulenburg Shorthorns, with Shiner traveling to face Fall City out there in Seguin. That's going to be Thursday night. Refugio faces Riveria Coffer. In 3A, Goliad faces Yoakum. Industrial will face Poth, and Hallettsville will battle Stockdale. In the 4A ranks, Calhoun battles Bay City, El Campo versus Rockport, and again, Cuero will face Divine Warhorses there in the first round of the playoffs. And then finally in 5, Victoria East face the Madison Marlins. That game will be out there at Bay City High School in West. We're still figuring out who they're going to play. We're going to find out that information later, and I'm going to post all these first round matches, including their times and locations, on crossroadstoday.com/sports. And finally, the Texas and Victoria women's and men's soccer teams hosted Our Lady of the Lake at the Cage earlier today. These games were moved to today because of the weather from this past Saturday. The women's team would lose their 6-0, while the men's team would actually draw with Our Lady of the Lake there 2-2, with their goals coming from Jason Anderson and Daniel Mignola for the Jaguars. So both teams will try to finish off the regular season there versus North American on the road November 1st. Women's game's at 1 p.m. and the men's game is at 3:30 p.m. And that's going to do it here in sports. Don, back to you.
Thank you, Max. We're back in a moment. A huge red fir tree is making a cross-country trip. Find out why after the break. To get more news, weather, and sports, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com. And finally tonight, the U.S. Capitol Christmas tree has started on its way to Washington, D.C. The 53-foot red fir was harvested from the Carson Ranger District in Nevada on Friday. The tree, named Silver Bell, will make stops at parades, festivals, and community gatherings across Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kentucky before arriving on the west lawn of the U.S. Capitol. The tour is all about celebrating the spirit of the Silver State, showcasing Nevada's stunning natural landscapes and community spirit. And yes, I did use the word Christmas. I know we're not even, I know, Halloween, Thanksgiving, but, well, hey, tell the people hauling that tree, you know, they got it going here.
That tree had snow on it, so.
Yeah, Nevada, yes.
Some people are already enjoying that. Fortunately for us, we're finally going to get some cooler weather. It's going to feel like October because the front comes in late on Tuesday night. You'll feel it Wednesday with a high of only 73, down to the 40s at night, and it'll be absolutely gorgeous for Friday because what's happening Friday? Well, maybe a little football. Halloween.
Boo. Thank you, Matt, and thanks for joining us. We'll see you tonight for 25 News Now after Monday Night Football.